Right, here's a new film using gelli-prints as a basis for pattern in my artwork. And I'm working from a photograph of some Mexican ladies. And I've wet the paper and I'm sketching the ladies up with an Inktense pen, which is called Willow. It's a kind of yellowy terracotta colour. And I'm just getting down their features, just the basic shapes of their clothes. Wetting the paper again so that it's the pen melts into the paper. Just getting down the shape of their faces there. Now I'm adding a darker colour, also Inktense, called Bark, just to fill in their hair and their eyes, eyebrows and so. Now I'm using 1 or 2 gelli-prints which have flowers in the design, and they were printed at the same time, but they have slightly different colourings. No 2 gelli-prints are the same. And I'm gluing down the little pieces. I'm tearing them and ripping them apart and putting them down with golden matte medium. As you can see, the one at the front is slightly darker and the one at the back is slightly lighter. This doesn't really have any effect because I'm going to be painting over them anyway. Now I'm taking a new print to cover the bottom half of the paper. This one doesn't have flowers on it. Right, now I'm going to start painting in the faces, and I'm using a mixture of Golden Fluid Yellow Oxide, burnt Sienna and Titan Bufl. So I paint a base coat first, and then now I'm using a little more burnt Sienna for the shadows, and then some Titan Bufl for the highlights on the faces. Now I'm using, for the hair, I've got a colour called Dyke Brown, which is also golden fluid. Little pencil work there with the Bark Inktense pencil again, and then filling that in again with the mixture of burnt sienna and yellow oxide. Here we can see the details. I'm putting some more highlights on her. Again, being quite sketchy. Then I'm adding the Inktense pen on top. I just love the effect that you get there with the Inktense pencil on top of the acrylic. And I've wet the paper, and I'm just painting in to get rid of the white background, some yellow oxide there, just to warm the paper up a bit. Now I'm going to do exactly the same on the second face. There you can see the Titan Bufl, little burnt sienna for the shading, highlights. Now I'm using the Bark Inktense pencil again to get the details going there. Nose, mouth, round her ear, jaw, and the shape of her cheekbone. And I'm giving her darker hair as well with Dyke Brown. A little more highlights here and there. Now you can see what she looks like close up. Right, now I'm going to paint in the flowers in their shawls by using Golden Fluid Teal, which I have watered down and filled in a squeezer bottle, which has a rollerball tip and means that I can almost draw with the paint. And I'm just filling in these different areas of the gelli-print, which is guiding me. tassels on the shawl at the bottom there. Here's the teal, and there is the squeezer bottle. And you can see it's almost a slight relief on the three-dimensional, it's a raised surface. Right, I'm using a glaze here. I'm warming it up with Golden Fluid Naphthol red light mixed with glazing liquid, and that will give a transparent glaze. So I don't actually cover it, but I'm just enhancing it. And now some golden Indian yellow and some Naphthol red light to brighten up that shawl there. Still following the pattern from the jelly print. And I'm also going to use some of the glaze on their faces, since they were looking a little sallow, but I dab it off so they're not too red. Indian yellow and a little Van Dyke brown in the background just to brighten it up, make it look more Mexican. Matches their shawls a little better. And then a few more details, just some phthalo blue red shade to give a little depth. Even in a glaze at the bottom, which was the bottom half of the picture was too beige, and so I've glazed it there with phthalo blue. Here you can see a detail so that you can still see the jelly print through. The glaze is transparent. And here you can see how I've painted over the jelly print. Jelly print still showing through in certain areas. Now I've painted this in my sketchbook, but I can imagine doing a large painting actually with the same motif in the future. This is what it looks like.